Welcome back to the Super Tuesday recap. It is Kriss and Dpalm here, and we are here for our. Got to switch it up now. We were just talking about this Legend of Tomorrow and Arrow recaps. It used to be Arrow, then Legend of Tomorrow, but Legend of Tomorrow moved to Tuesday. We did not move the podcast because we got to have some kind of lives, folks. Here's the thing. I actually didn't watch Legend of Tomorrow until I actually watched it last night because I was like, yo, listen, I can't watch this on Tuesday. I can't watch three shows back to back on Tuesday like that. I can't do it. It's too much.
I'll tell you what, man. They could put Legends on Monday afternoon. I'm like, no, we're recording it on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because as far as I'm concerned, it came out. This comes out on Thursday because that's when I watch it on, like you said, Sunday morning.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry. I get why they moved it, but I'm sorry. I can't. I have to hate my sanity, and I love that we have all this content. But folks, give me I need to keep my sanity, guys. I can't be overdone. So we're doing Legend of Tomorrow, season 2, episode 9, Raiders of the Lost Art. So here's the thing, I didn't even realize the name of the episode until after I watched it.
There's so many notes, like little drops in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, the title.
Yeah.
Until you read it just now, I didn't know the title.
Yeah. Damien Dark and Malcolm Merlyn create a big apparition as they attempt to capture Rip in 1967. That is a great synopsis because I had no idea what was going to happen. And then I would see this, and then when they're like, George Lucas, I'm like, you sons of bitches. You sons of bitches. But come on, guys. I shouldn't have liked this episode as much as I did.
I love it because I think this is kind of Legends finding its stride for real. But there are other little things in here that bug the hell out of me that we'll talk about during the.
I'm pretty sure they're for show wise and plot wise and story wise. But I'm just gonna jump to the end. Like, it really explains George Lucas making Star Wars now. The fucking Rave Rider kind of looks like the Millennium Falcon, yo.
Nigga, Vixen said, "George, you're our only hope." They're in a trash compactor.
The trash compactor. They were using laser weapons.
I'm like looking at it. Like, you just plagiarize all this shit.
But that's
I'm glad Disney took Star Wars.
This would make it even better. Because you're like, wait a minute. It wasn't even his original idea. This is great, yo. Oh my God, yo. I'm sorry. Like, any problem I had with the episode went away with that whole, like, when I realized that the Rave Rider looked like the Millennium Falcon, I was like, and he saw it, I'm like, God damn it. And then even the whole Raiders of the Lost Ark thing with it being an artifact they're after, and Damien Dark and fucking Malcolm Merlyn literally being, like, kind of acting like Nazis.
Yeah.
God. There's also one, like, subtle scene, too. Damien Dark and Malcolm Merlyn in the elevator with the elevator music going off.
Right.
Come on, man.
The whole thing. This was. I don't know how you come back from break and say, "What's the pitch for the big return? We're gonna do George Lucas fan fiction. What? We're gonna just tell a bunch of George Lucas jokes for an hour.
Oh, and the two biggest nerds and scientists on the ship. Of course, they're Star Wars fans, and if George Lucas doesn't make Star Wars, they become idiots.
Now, Raiders for Nate, but yes.
Yeah. Like,
it's ridiculous. It's so funny because it's a good way to tip the cap and show the influence George Lucas has had.
Right.
Is it also a way to kind of tweak Marvel?
I thought so too. I thought about that. I was like, wait, because
Disney clearly.
Right. I'm like, wait, this is a Disney thing. Oh, that's cute, guys. Nice. But then again, at the same time, you're also kind of proving that George Lucas is a plagiarist, and so it's good that's in Disney's hands. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. It could go either way here, and I thought it was hilarious, and yeah, just the whole thing from Rip making Rip Hunter fan fiction.
But he even, they took shots at themselves.
Right.
I don't know, the Savage guy's a little underwritten.
Dude, I love that. It was like, yo, I don't know about the villain. My villain is just not good enough. And I'm like, yo, that is literally the complaint of season 1. That nobody gives a fuck about Vandal Savage in season 1. Oh my God, this is it's such a
He's not bringing in
self-aware,
a real menace.
right? It's such a self-aware episode, and then when Damon Dark and Malcolm Merlin show up, just go, see, here we go, proper villains. I'm just like, son of a bitch. Like the self-aware nature of this episode, just it's what sells it for me. Like I said, we'll get into the other issues, but that's what. And I think when it comes to Legends and the problems that Legends of Tomorrow has, it can always get past them with things like this. When it remembers that it's different from the other shows on the CW because of things like this. And it can get, like, you can't do this with the Flash and even Supergirl are lighter in tone.
Right.
But they could never do an episode like this. But
No.
Legends could, you know? So, oh my God. Yeah, dude, I watched this episode and I was just cackling the entire time. Like, I was just like, are they seriously doing this right now? Are we?
Yeah, they even flat out called the Spear of Destiny a MacGuffin. I was like, wait, you're not even being subtle now. It's just a MacGuffin that the character's going to chase.
Right.
I'm like,
Look,
can you say that in the same episode you introduced it?
right? Look, this is
I was looking around like, yo, is someone going to get fired?
this is an episode where clearly, even if it doesn't go down as the best episode of the season, because it's not, this is an episode that I feel like the writers and the cast and everybody who made this episode had fun doing.
This is the script that got approved when a lot of people in standards were worrying about their holiday plans.
Right.
They were like, yeah, sure, MacGuffin. I guess so, whatever.
And I love how fake Rip didn't want to believe any of this shit either. He's like, no, clearly, drugs. I did too much drugs. I gotta lay off the drugs because clearly that's what's going on here. Oh my God. I mean, it just again, little moments too, like when they're going to confront Damien Dark and stuff like that, and it's Jax and Sarah, and they're walking past Mick and Dr. Stein, and Dr. Stein doing brain surgery on him, and they walk by and they stab him and look at him and was like, what are you doing? He's like, brain surgery. And they just look at each other going like, you know what, not touching this right now, not doing this, we're just gonna keep going. And they just keep going. They don't ask any questions. They don't say, why are you doing brain surgery on Mick? What are we doing here? That doesn't make any sense. You're not a brain surgeon. They look at each other and go, you know what? Shit's been weird enough today as it is. We're going to go with it. Fine.
We're in the middle of something else. If we had time,
Right.
you would ask more questions.
Right. But we don't, so.
So just don't kill it.
Right. I'm sorry.
It's like if you ever seen like young parents with two or three young kids, they got one crisis and like, you put the matches down. We will talk about this later.
Right.
I don't have time for that right now. Your brother broke his arm.
Right.
But
we didn't forget.
we will have a very pointed discussion about you and matches later.
Oh my God. Like, I'm sorry. That shit just, like, the humor and the ridiculousness of this whole thing. Just...
They let Nate say Legion of Doom. Why'd you call him that? From a Hanna-Barbera cartoon when I was a kid. Which is clearly Super Friends, right?
Right.
And now I'm like, wait a second. So in this reality,
and then I like how everybody trying to get everybody to say Legion of Doom, and Sarah's like, I'm not calling them that. Which again, I feel that works because she's from the Arrow universe, and that's exactly what fucking Oliver would say. Oliver's like, yep. I'm not calling them the Legion of Doom. We're not doing that. We are not normalizing this shit. All right.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Arrow, but Oliver's a bigger hero than I ever thought. Or in it.
So quietly, I actually think out of the seat. I didn't see Supergirl yet, so I can't comment on that.
Me neither.
Arrow is my favorite episode this week.
Yeah, me too.
So we'll get into that when we get to that later. But they don't say that often about Arrow winning the week, but we'll get into that later. But whew, yeah, this is an episode. Yeah, so
I like George Lucas. You guys from the future? You've seen a bunch of movies that haven't even made, and Vixen's like, I'm actually from the past.
Right.
I don't care about these movies.
Right. Oh, I love when Dumb Ray and Dumb Nate are trying to talk to George Lucas and explain to him why he's got to make the movie, and they sound like idiots. And Amaya's just like, let me talk to him. All right. And it's basically like, you got to go make a movie so these two idiots are no longer idiots anymore. All right?
Yeah, you've got to fix them so I don't kill them.
Right. I'm sorry. This episode. All right, let's get to the things that didn't work, because I'm sorry, but it's too fucking funny to me to care.
Right.
It's so absurd. This episode was so fucking absurd. I'm sorry. Anyway, all right. So we find out about these artifacts. And I guess we can, do you want to talk about, where do you think they're going with this?
So first of all, I have no freaking clue. So that's one of my downsides for the episode, is that to this day, what episode is this? Episode
This 9.
9?
Yeah.
I don't know what the bad guys want yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know that they're building a thing, and I guess that kind of leaves us in the seat of the protagonist, where we're just kind of chasing ourselves and kind of wondering, but it would add more depth to the menace if we knew what they were planning on doing, particularly because you've reduced Dark, who doesn't have his magic, and Merlin, who should have been killed in season 3 of Arrow, to almost these one-note, henchman jokes.
Right.
Merlin should be a threat.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting tossed around like a goddamn ragdoll.
Yeah.
By Iron Steel thing, Colossus fake, whatever.
Citizen Steel.
Ugh. I get it, DC, do you, but come on. Jesus.
Not Colossus. Not
Colossus. Dark, they have to force them in mind, they're both members of the League of Assassins. That's why we're scared of Dark. That's it. Okay, because Dark without magic is I don't get. Are you threatened?
Well, I think you need it because we've always seen him use the magic. We've never seen him actually. Malcolm, we know. We've seen Malcolm, in combat.
Take away Dark's magic and he's up against a Man of Steel and Iron Man Lights and Firestorm. He's a lot less easy to take as a viable threat.
Exactly.
That's why they had to have Thawne show up.
Right, which comes into my thing where, I think they're trying to bury the lead here. Thawne, when you take what the Spirit of Destiny and the artifact do, which is change reality, I can think of a lot of different reasons why having that being in Thawne's possession is a bad idea. Right. And I can see how that ties into the larger issue, even the larger Flash universe and what he does there. Because, hey, let's think about it. Thawne went out here and traveled through time and changed time a lot. Somehow, remember, he said to Barry, hey, yeah, I go out, I change time all the time, but I'm careful with it.
I know what I'm doing.
Well, I wonder how you know how you're doing. Well, are you using some other artifacts and things? So it's I have so many different theories on what you can, I have beliefs on what you can do if Thawne's there, but you're kind of bearing because he's too powerful. If the problem with Malcolm and Dark is, I can't, without Damien Dark, without his magic, I can't see him taking on Citizen Steel, Iron Man Light, and Ray, Firestorm, and even Sarah. You add in Thawne, and now it's I can't see how any of them take on Thawne, right? So it's they're having I like the fact that we have these villains here, but there's still too much of an imbalance, and so they have to play their Thawne card lightly, and that's why he only shows up at the end. Cause I'm not gonna lie, the entire time I'm going, why is Thawne not there? Because Thawne could take care of this in 2 seconds. Why is he sending a Dark and Merlin to do that? Now it could come into the fact that I think we saw this in a previous episode where he has a certain amount of time he can't be there too long.
Right, he's gotta go.
Right. And maybe that's the reason why. And so he could only show up at the end because, hey, he only has a certain amount of time. But like you said, they need to start explaining that so that we know.
Or at the very least addressing it and so that the audience.
Right.
And it'd be one thing to do this on the Flash or Arrow because, truth be told, they have a track record that says if you trust us, we're going to lead you somewhere fun.
Right.
Legends doesn't have that, if only because of the uneven first season.
Exactly.
The first half of the season has been great so far, but you stumbled with your villain last year. Why can't I trust you to get it right now? And that's where the unease is coming from.
Right. Hey, you might be able to stick the landing, but you didn't last year, so we're kind of, we're worried. And I think that's where it comes from. Like I said, Thawne raises the level of the Legion of Doom, if you will. and I'm. And the next episode is literally called Legion of Doom, so I'm hoping that
I'm hoping this is what. Give me half an hour with the other side,
right.
please.
Let's see, because like I said, at some point, even with Vandal Savage not being the villain we wanted, we knew what Vandal Savage wanted to do. You know, for the most part, world domination. All right, cool. That's a set thing. We have no idea what the motivations of Thawne are, and you can't even say the motivations of Dark and Merlin, because honestly, at this point, they're just henchmen. Mm-hmm. They're henchmen. I mean, I don't even know if they know the. I don't know if they know what Thawne's plan is. So, we gotta So, maybe next episode we find that out. But I think we definitely do need that information there. So, like I said, because Thawne's a fucking problem. Like he came in, he took everybody out. He literally shows up, and I'm like, yeah, guys, how are you guys going to solve this? Because you guys need your own speedster, because you can't stop Thawne. Period. You know, you're not going to be able to. Like you had that one anti-speedster weapon that literally just slowed him down for like a half a second.
Yeah,
that's not going to be good enough. So
at all.
What do you think about the whole thing with Mick?
I like it. I like that we're getting resolution to the things they've kind of seeded us out, and seeded us with like Lynn coming back, Snart coming back, and I like that they kind of thought they found the reason, and that it clearly isn't that. So it's the idea that there's something inside of time that they don't know about. It's twofold interesting because one, we kind of all want Snart back.
Right.
And two, it shows the value of having a true time master on board.
Right.
Because I have a pretty good feeling Rip would at least have an idea of heard about what the hell's going on, as opposed to Sarah, who is determined to rename the Spear of Destiny into the Lance of Destiny because of selfish reasons.
Well, she's also Sarah Lance, so
I didn't say she was wrong. I just said
saying she's wrong. I'm just I like the fact that, you know, I like the fact that Mick is like, hey, listen, you're trying to tell me that I have feelings and that's what this really is. He's like, no, that can't be what it is. And I'm tending to agree with him. Like, no, he doesn't really. I know you're trying to diagnose him like he's a normal human being, and he's not.
Well, not Snart, but Gray put it himself. He's not that kind of doctor. Hey, buddy, you're also not that other kind of doctor either, Stein. Like, how about you just don't psychoanalyze the psychopath?
Yeah, you're not. And I think I would like to, like you said, they seeded a nice. I forgot. I'm like, oh wait, you know what? They're doing Prison Break, so that's clearly why. I was even like, why? I was like, why? So he's talking now. We've seen Snart. We've seen Wentworth Miller show up and have Mick talking to Snart. I'm like, so this episode, I'm like, why? We're seeing him just talk to Air and not actually see Snart. Like, why is he not there? And I was like, oh shit, that's right. Prison Break came back, and it's probably a conflict, and so that's why you can't. So we're probably not actually going to get Snart coming back fully formed until towards the end of the season. But I like the idea of, hey, yeah, you know what? He did blow up, but he blew up in the center of time. Right. So technically, he might not be dead. And as we find out on Arrow, death is never usually the final resting place for most people anyway, because
especially in this show.
We've established that. So so I do like them going that way. And again, it was an interesting pairing to have, because we've never really seen Stein and Mick interact like that. So it was an interesting pairing to have these two together.
I like that they're able to shuffle up these pairings because it makes sense now.
Yeah, and then having Jackson and Sarah working together. You know?
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even notice how it's 100% true.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something with all of these CW shows is getting the different pairings, because you have these casts, and getting the different pairings working together. I think is always a great thing for the show to see and enjoy. So, really enjoyed that. Let me see what else I got in my notes here. Like I said, most of my notes were basically going around and complaining about, well, not complaining, but just talking about how ridiculous it was.
Yeah. I really want them to make me scared of Merlin again, please. Merlin used to be such a force of nature.
Mm-hmm.
And they turned them into literal, like, they're Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you on that one. Maybe
So
next
I want
episode
to
when
make
they're
them a bit more
torturing.
competent again.
Hey.
Kill a legend.
Whew, okay.
I'm just saying. I liked Rip Hunter as Phil Gassmer. That's a stupid name, but of course it is. So is Rip Hunter. And it was good. And I think it's interesting to leave him in their clutches.
Right.
Because he's still divorced from that old personality, but I think obviously with the film he was shooting, something's in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like I said, I thought that was very interesting having them when Jack is reading this, like he wrote about us. He's going through stuff and everything's there. That was great. One thing I was a little caught off guard by how much Sarah was feeling about leaving Rick behind.
Yeah, she was really guilty.
Right. Like that's just it seemed out of character. Like I would have taken that from another character and Sarah making the decision that we have to go.
We did what we had to do.
And we had to do with it. That would have felt more in character. Like if Jax had been like, no, we can't leave Rip behind, and Sarah been like, no, we have to, and then Sarah having to console Rip, that would have made more sense to me. Just because, I mean, I don't know, it just seemed off for the character a little bit. It didn't seem like in her nature. Granted, yeah, she's captain and she's taking care of everything, and she's, she's doing what she has to do, but I don't know. It just felt a little bit weirder to me.
It felt weird, right?
Yeah, it felt way too, because they've had to leave people behind before.
That's how this entire season started.
Right. So I don't know. It was just it definitely was weird to me a little bit, but yeah.
I want to tip a cap on this episode for one real big part of Arrow history they did a really good tribute to. Bad wigs. Rip Hunter's wig was horrible, and season one through I think 4, Flashback Ollie also.
It might have been
wig,
it might have been the same Ollie wig.
Now that is a temporal constant. If that wig is a temporal constant, that's our MacGuffin.
Oh my god! What if it is?
That shitty wig is what unites the entire Arrowverse through time and space.
The secret is the wig. The secret is the wig. Yeah. That wig is terrible. Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah. So I think anything else you want to say about this one?
No, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good, and I'm excited to see what they do next week. And I don't want to sound like we're being impatient, but I think a little bit of clarity on villain motivation would help a lot. Would go a long way.
No, definitely. At this point, we're 9 episodes in. We got to, these shows have all the CW shows get better when they move faster. Like here at this point, crazy. We know villain motivation in Arrow before we know villain motivation in Legend of Tomorrow. And Arrow is known for taking its time.
Hiding the ball.
Right. So, yeah, you can't be behind Arrow on this one. All right? You got to pick it up a little bit. So, all right, let's move on to Arrow now. So, Arrow season 5, episode 10. Who are you? Worried that Prometheus might be right about him being a killer. Oliver finds a ray of hope in an apparent return of Laurel. Felicity swears revenge against Prometheus for calling Malone's death. Again, this synopsis is terrible, but like I said it when we were talking about Legend. This was the CW episode of the week for me. Like this, it nails everything that I love about and why I will defend Arrow.
Some of our first half criticisms of the show was that they had problems with balance and juggling all the characters. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was removing Evelyn or making Diggle Ty's story tie more into Ollie's, but I feel like every character got their due in this episode.
No, everybody did. I mean, you had Felicity,
even
had
Renee, who I don't like.
Shit! You got the whole I love again pairings make these shows. So basically having Curtis and Raymond paired off. Come on, like. That gave you, because they're two dynamic personalities, but it gave you the payoff that you needed. Getting Renee and Curtis there into that moment, and we'll talk more about Curtis finally, coming to realization, hey, maybe fighting's not for you, dude. Like I said, it nailed everything we wanted. It's like they went into break. They were like, hey, let's listen to some of these criticisms. Hey, okay, cool. Let's work on some of this shit and go. I mean, even here, I think that, for all the problems people had with Katie Cassidy as Laurel Lance, they loved her as Black Siren. So this is a role and the Black Canary kind of that, beside the murdering streak, that I think people wanted. They liked this version of Katie Cassidy. It's kind of like how Danielle Panabaker's character is better now with the whole Killer Frost aspect to it. Way more interesting. I feel like, I've always liked Laurel Lance, but I think bringing her back on the show as Black Siren, and she's going to be a constant figure here at some point. I think it's a great move.
No, I agree 100%. I think that what they've done, I'm really glad that they resolved that in the first act, was that it's clearly not her. Mm-hmm. And well, they didn't waste time with that, but I'm also glad that she complicates everyone's lives so much.
Right. It literally complicates the dynamic and the friendship and the feelings between Oliver and Felicity. Like, here's the thing: the way they put it, like at first when you see when you think about it, you're like, okay, I'm with everybody. We're at this party. I'm like, this is weird. Malone just died. Felicity just lost, the man she was in love with. He just died, and his body's barely warm in the grave, and we're throwing a party because Laurel Lance is back, and we're okay with this. But it actually worked out because they explained it. Like, Felicity's like, oh no, I threw the party because I wanted to find a way to get her DNA because I don't trust it as fucking Laurel.
And I think it's very funny because a lot of people are going to say, oh, Felicity endangered the team by having them shoot at her, or Felicity. Yo, I'm Team Felicity in this episode 110%.
No, she was right. She even says, like, you did the same thing, Oliver.
I love how he doesn't say you're right. He just brushes past it.
Right. He's like, hey, I learned it from you, Ollie.
and I was just like, why are you bringing up bullshit?
Right. No, I mean, it was great. And here's the thing: if you watch the episode and you're paying attention, when Laurel first shows up and they're having that conversation, they're sitting there talking, you could even see right there Felicity kind of being on some, I don't believe this bitch.
Oh yeah, you couldn't, and that's the thing, because it comes off almost as the old girlfriend mad at the return of the even older girlfriend.
Right, and you're like, because again, we know that it can't possibly be, but even then, it's like her talking about it. I'm like, wait, she mentioned the Wave Rider. How would Black Siren know about the Wave? Like, how would? And then that opens up a whole other question. It's like, well, shit. How does Prometheus know?
How much does he know? Is he in the computers? Right. How does he know all this shit?
Because I'm like, wait, she was mentioning shit about, oh no, Sarah saved me, dropped me off, and a moment in time to come back. And I'm like, wait. I thought this was Black Siren, but maybe there's Flashpoint involved here. Like, how did this happen? Because this isn't. How would she know? And when you find out that, no, it's what you thought, it is Black Siren. He broke her out of the Star Labs because that's the weakest security system of all time.
The weakest security. Some things didn't change with Flashpoint, did they, Cisco?
Right.
God damn it, pay attention.
Like, how do you lose an entire fucking human, metahuman, and not know she's gone? Like, are you not feeding them, Cisco?
I was like, yo, when was Chow?
Because here's the thing.
She's been gone 3 days?
What was it? Only 3 days? Because it's like she knew a lot of information. Like that's.
So they said this was 3 days ago. No alarm was tripped.
Oh, okay. I'm like, yo. So, dog. How did? So, hey, whatever. Gotta get them out of Star Labs. All right, that should be number. Get them out of Star Labs. Get them somewhere else because they clearly cannot be there. But yeah, I'm looking at it going, like, how do you know this information? Like, because that's like the recruits don't know this information. Because at one point I was like, well, maybe Evelyn told him. And I was like, wait, does she even know about the time traveling?
Right.
Like, she doesn't know this information. So how the fuck does Prometheus know? And how the fuck does this Laurel Lance know? I'm like, oh, this is fucking good. Like, there's a lot of questions here, man.
This just got interesting.
Like, this got real interesting. I love during the party when Renee talking to Oliver. He's like, man, this is kind of weird. The way, and again, I love how the recruits are us. He's like, yo, it's kind of weird. It's like the way you guys are acting, like this has happened before. And Oliver doesn't answer him. He's like, this has happened before. He's like, the Lance sisters have a way of coming back to life. He's like, wait, what? Like,
what the fuck's that supposed to mean?
Right? Because again, like.
That's not an answer, by the way.
It's not. It's not. And again, I love the fact that, again, the recruits are us because we see Felicity and Oliver and we're like, you guys are, I know this shit is weird shit that's happened before. You guys are taking this way too calmly. And the recruits are like, no, I can't. Someone's got to say some shit because this is just, it's driving me fucking crazy. Why are you this calm? Like, she's back from the dead. Holy shit, that's crazy. Oh, yeah, it's what we do. Like, you know, Thea's back from the dead. No, her sister.
Oh, Thea did come back, didn't she?
Right. Thea died. Sarah died. Like, come on, motherfucker. Like, and third time's a charm, right? Are we really that shocked? Are we really that shocked that Laurel's back? No.
That's a good point.
And again, like, to me, this episode is great because it's the little things they did. Like, okay, Thea wasn't there, but she called Thea. She asked about seeing her dad. He was like, oh, well, if I don't see my dad first, that's going to be a problem. He was like, well, here's the thing. He's back on the bottle, and he's, you know, he's in a rehab right now, so maybe you seeing him.
Which Prometheus probably knew, right?
Yeah. But here's the thing. Yeah. So, like, well, he had to know, right? Because Prometheus had to know that he was back on the bottle. Because, remember, he tried to set up Quentin to be looked at as Prometheus. Remember, he when Quentin was blacking out, he left one of the throwing stars in Quentin's apartment. So like this is like Prometheus is a fucking problem. It's a fucking problem. All right. Yeah, man. So I just thought that was done really well. Also, so is Laurel a former alcoholic herself? Because at the party, she was given. You know, she was given the wine, and she was going to take it, right? That's right, she is. She's not an alcoholic.
Oh, no, she was an alcoholic.
Was she an alcoholic or was it the pills?
Yeah. No, I think it was both.
Okay, it was both?
They tend to go hand in hand.
Because she almost grabbed the, like, I love how she almost grabbed the champagne, but grabbed and then was like, oh, no, I'm going to grab the water. And Felicity just gave her that. And Felicity was like, that's strike two, bitch.
I'm watching you, bitch.
Right? Like, listen, I'll tell you, you gotta go back and watch this episode and just watch Felicity look at Laurel. Like, after the initial, oh my God, I'm happy to see you in the hug. After that,
it's a study in side eye.
Right. And sometimes,
right.
and sometimes, and it goes both ways. It goes both ways. And, cause you can just tell, like, Laurel's looking at her like, this bitch knows. Cause you know why? Of course she does. Because Oliver, whether he wants to admit it or not, is thinking kind of with his dick.
Yes.
Just what it is. So
now his dick feels regretful, so that's part of it.
Right. Right.
But this is a dick you're not your friend case study because that's basically what Arrow is all the time.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge. Your dick's not your friend. Oh man, that was just great. I love when So again, so once they find out that it's Laurel, I love that when Curtis finds out that there are when they talk about how there's multiple Earths and stuff like that, and he's explaining to Renee, he's like, yeah, there's multiple Earths and multiple personalities. He's like, oh my God, what if I'm straight? So good.
It was something that had never crossed my mind.
Right. I'm just like, yeah.
And it should, because one of my first like alternate universe really immersions was when I don't know if you ever watched Buffy, but they go to the alternate Buffyverse and Willow's gay. It's the first time you had oh, maybe Willow's gay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for me in my head, it's like, oh, across the dimensions, sexuality wouldn't change. But Curtis saying, what if I was straight? Like, huh? Hadn't considered it.
Right.
What if he is straight?
Well, it's kind of like we talked about this before with the all new X-Men with Iceman. And like Bobby and he's been straight. He's actually dating Kitty Pryde at that point. The older him is, when you find out the younger one of them is gay. You're like, wait, what the fuck? What? Hey, how did?
And then did you ever read the issue where he confronts old Bobby?
No.
It's good because he's like, you couldn't have just been quiet about it. I can't have one because Bobby. Well, not to digress from the episode, but it's a really well written scene because Bobby's just like, couldn't I have had one aspect of my life I wasn't hated at?
Right. That's
And
good.
it's really it's Bendis because it's Bendis. He does it with a really good touch, and it's really well done. Because everyone's like, it's a stunt. I'm like, you need to read how they did it.
Yeah.
Not a stunt.
Yeah. Oh man, so good, so good. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I think the way they handled the whole Laurel thing, and even to the point of like, it's a bad idea, but even like Oliver's position on it, yeah, it's wrong, and hey, you're not going to be able to convince her. You can understand why he would want to try.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it. Like, no, Oliver, it's not going
to
work.
It's good that Felicity gets it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I like that Felicity understood, and like when she had that conversation, she was having a conversation with Earth 2 Laurel, and was telling him like, yeah, listen, he's going to do this because he feels it's not just that he feels responsible. He feels that there's some way of redeeming. Like he feels responsible, and it feels like a way of redemption for him.
Right?
And like, I get it. You get it. You get why Oliver wanted to do it because it has been Oliver's thing. His whole thing since he got back in Star City has been redemption in some way or form, and you can't take that away from him, and I can't be mad at him for trying that and for trying to do it. So yeah.
And echoing the theme of redemption, we've got Ollie going out of his way to get Adrian Chase, who, by the way, them backburnering the vigilante thing is brilliant because now all we see is Chase is the DA who's trying to help our friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
They threw the vigilante thing at you early and they took off the table, and now at the mid-season break, I don't think the lead-in even mentioned it.
No.
They're going to hit us with it again, and I'm very excited about that. Spores, if you didn't know he's vigilante, I don't know what to tell you. I apologize for nothing.
I thought at this point, we had to know. Didn't we know?
They haven't told us on the show. They haven't told us on the show. They left enough breadcrumbs where he's like, we made easy jumps, but you and I also both can read character names and know who it was.
Oh yeah, I mean at this point I was just like, it's clearly got it. I thought I thought it clearly had to be known that like even if you didn't know who Adrian Chase was, at this point you had to know he's fucking vigilante. It's like it's so fucking obvious. It wasn't even.
He's done everything but take the mask off on camera.
Right. So no, I thought that was great, and again, see now you have and Oliver trying to tell Vigilante to stop and stuff like that. Now he unwittingly has gotten adds Adrian Chase to help him get Diggle out, and that's gonna be. I thought it was really well done too.
Now you owe him.
Yeah, you do. He's used the system, and here's the crazy thing: what's going to happen when the system doesn't work for Diggle?
Right.
Because they're really trying to. They're poor Diggle, man.
It's getting. They're not slow playing that one at all, are they, buddy?
No,
fast tracking him to.
Dude,
I'm like, wait a second.
What Adrian tried to do was like, hey, listen, I need this form, and the general pulled them out of his coat. I was like, and he was like, well, it's gonna take some while to ratify these. I have the Attorney General on speed dial, so
I was like, ask for more forms.
Right.
I think it's all the forms he has. Right. He's exhausted his form supply. Right. Now's the time to strike.
Right. I mean, I don't understand. And then the last thing was like, yeah, you got to hit me. And I'm like, oh, that's actually smart. That actually, that works. But good God,
fucking brilliant. You got to hit me.
Yeah. And here's
we're kind of fucked here, buddy. You got to hit me.
And I think what we said before was, yeah, you're right. If we didn't take Diggle off the table, we wouldn't have been able to get these other moments that we need with like Curtis and Renee and things like that, or just the whole episode with Laurel. So like I said, I don't think having like they had to take everybody off the not having Thea there because she obviously was doing stuff for the mayor. I think even Earth 2 Laurel saying it's like, yeah, Oliver's kind of telling me you're pretty much running the mayor's office anyway, and I'm like, just make her mayor.
Mayor Thea Queen.
Mayor Thea Queen. Just Mayor Queen. Just go ahead and do it because that's what needs to happen. That
you don't have to change the name tag. The nameplate still says Mayor Queen. You're good there.
Right. Just it works. She doesn't want to be a vigilante anyway, so let's do it. And I like I said, normally I would be upset of them taking a black character off the board, but we got that time filled with Curtis, so I thought it was good. I think it worked out.
And I don't even think he's off the board because he's such a he's not in the active like in the field, but his story is gonna matter. His story matters in this episode, and it's gonna matter going forward.
Right. When I mean take off the board, like having him physically there as part of
I see what you're saying.
the team, because again, it's just too many. And like again, not even having Evelyn there is too much. Although, yeah, we'll talk about what happens at the end later on. But yeah, yeah, it needed to happen. And I'm glad that they're kind of be like, hey, Curtis, you're not a fighter. And I'm glad it's Curtis that comes up with this idea. And Renee kind of tells him, it's like, you got other things you can do. And I'm like, yes, we've been saying this all season.
Yeah,
you're not
I'm
a
glad
fighter.
that, hey, for what it's worth, you and I are probably a little bit impatient with that because we want Curtis, because we like Mr. Terrific.
Right.
But they got there.
No, they're doing it. And I'm like I'm watching the little, I'm like, okay, now all you got to do is go back and take the little T-spheres you had, because you had them. Let's bring those into the field. Let's do that. We're almost there, man. We're almost there, Curtis.
We're right there, man.
I feel like we're so close, so close. But it's a great story. It's a great way, like having him get upset and have all this stuff. Hey, listen, I've been stabbed, had magic used on me. I lost Paul. Like he's lost all this stuff, and it was like he finally cracked. And I think it's good because again, he's one of those characters. He was a Felicity character in a way of. He was always aloof, and he always had the cracking jokes and things like that, and the quips. Right. And Renee was like, "Hey, come on, man, you're the funny guy." And he was like, "Why I always gotta be funny?" Like I almost want to be. Why the black guy gotta be the funny guy? Like I'm just here for your entertainment. Like I almost wanted him to go too black, and I understand that. Like I knew they weren't going to go there, but no, it was necessary. And I love that bonding moment they had there. I also love the fact the end when Renee was like, "But I just want to tell you, you ever put your hands on me again, I'm gonna kick your ass." And Curtis was like, "Oh man, you're funny." And Renee just stared at him like, "Motherfucker, I ain't kidding, yo."
Like look, I'm gonna let you live right now, but you need to relax.
It was like the diner scene in Heat. Like I know we're sitting here like two regular Joes talking, but
This is exactly what it was.
Right. I would not hesitate to put you down like the dog you are.
He's not wrong.
No, not wrong at all. So let's talk about this flashback. Talia?
Don't fuck it up, Arrow. Just don't fuck it up. That's all. Look, man, there. You say you got it. You got it. But, I'm gonna let you live, but don't fuck it up.
But here's the thing: is Talia the mother?
Mother what?
Of Prometheus.
Oh.
Because here's the thing: because first of all, she's got the techniques. Oh. Oliver said he learned that one move for a woman that taught him in Russia. Remember, Oliver's talking about like when Oliver's talking it's a quick moment. I didn't really understand what they were saying, so I had to rewind it. When Oliver's talking to Diggle in jail, he's like, "Yeah, we're trying to track down her mother. We're trying to track down the mother. She just does it. It's hard to do because she doesn't want to be found.
She's always on the move.
She's always on the move. She's just like because here's the thing. I keep wondering. It's like how does Prometheus know all this information about Oliver? How is he able to go hand to hand combat with Oliver Queen? Like this is on some League of Assassins type shit.
Too.
Like easy shit. Like when he gets hit with the I can't remember the name of the gas. He's like he basically laughs it off on some.
You might say I've got an immunity.
Right.
Like, God damn, son. Like what?
Like what the fuck?
Can we stop and talk about this for a second?
And, right. And then when Talia shows up and she's basically in the hood and they got the arrows and stuff like that, I'm like, Prometheus has League of Assassin moves. This is Talia here. Oliver learned some moves from some woman, and we never knew who that woman was. Talia shows up, nigga.
Don't fuck this up, Marvel. Or excuse me, Arrow. Cause no, don't please.
That here's the thing.
Get this right for me.
I've loved this season so far. I love this episode. When I saw the reveal of Talia and I put it together, I'm like, oh my god, she's Prometheus' mother. I was so excited, but then I got nervous. Like, yo, you can't fuck this up. You can't.
It just got real serious.
Whoa! Are you saying? Like, I was literally on something. Wait, are you saying what I'm thinking you're saying? You can't fuck this shit up, dude. Like you, cause nigga.
Tread lightly. It's all look. Best of luck to you. I hope you don't fuck it up.
Like, look at the big balls on Arrow. Good God. Like, dude, cause I'm
big brain on bread.
It makes so much sense. Cause I'm like, yo, this dude is League of Assassins. He has, like, his techniques are League of Assassin techniques. Like, how are you gonna do it? I'm like, you're not bringing back Malcolm Merlin. Like, so who the fuck is? You're bringing back Talia? What the fuck? You're bringing in Talia? Oh my God! Like,
that's my only advice.
Woo!
This really left for you, and I really hate for that. I hate for it to be you. Because we will come on here and we will talk about you if you fuck this up.
Oh yeah, dude, we will talk bad. We will talk bad about you.
So bad about you, and I will feel no sympathy. That's why everybody gets one. One more. Don't fuck this up.
So between it's that, and then also when Oliver goes, yeah, I'm not really living up to Laurel's promise. We got to find a new Canary, and I'm like, oh, is this why you guys didn't have Evelyn as Black Canary? And I'm like, who is this new woman, and what are we doing? What are we doing?
Look, I don't tell you.
Don't
that one, I'm just like, I can't defend that. Are there notes I can read from that I can repeat? Because I won't believe the defense I give.
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah. Well, did they fuck it up already by even suggesting it?
I don't know.
Are we walking into fucked up?
I mean, we might be, because
it feels like it. Because I'm like, look, man, this is the fourth Canary.
Yeah, pretty much. Because you had Sarah, you had Laurel, then you had Evelyn for a minute, and now you're gonna have
Canary 4.
Yeah,
that you're asking a lot of your audience.
Yeah, you are.
And I recognize that, yes, there are going to be times where you want to hew closer to the mythos, and I think the Canary versus Canary fight that we're eventually going to get probably in the penultimate episode of the season is going to be badass. I agree with that. And I know you guys want to say, oh, no, we're paying attention to the history of the franchise because we know how important Black Canary is to Green Arrow, and I appreciate that. It doesn't feel genuine.
I'll just say this. If you're going to do it, just like the Talia thing, good luck.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
You got to do it. Because here's the thing. Up until that point, I really thought that they would try to find some way of redeeming Black Siren.
So did I. I thought, oh, this is going to be the thing where she comes back and then takes the name Dinah Lance, right? Tied even closer to the show, because even the comic.
Because even when they were talking, she even says it. She's like, yeah, on my in Earth 2, me and Oliver were together, and my Ollie died, and that's when I moved to Central City, and that's when the metahuman thing happened to her, and that's when she went bad. So it's like you even here have the whole Earth 2 had Oliver and Laurel together. So it's like, I thought that's where they were going. So now you're introducing this fourth person now who might be the new Canary, and I'm like,
You're asking a lot from us.
You're asking a lot. I mean, good luck. I've been liking. There's the thing. They've been pulling things off so far.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So I'll give you that leeway. And here's the other thing too about it. We already know that they for all the CW shows, they've already approved all their next seasons. So we know we're getting a season 6. So okay, all right. Maybe that gives you more freedom to do what the story you're trying to tell. So. All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So, yeah. So, anything else you got to say about this one, man?
No, that was about it. I really did. I want to just make sure that we were clear that I think this is the CW episode of the week.
Yes.
Having not watched Supergirl yet, and I know it was a Kevin Smith episode, so I'm probably going to enjoy it. But from what I've seen so far, this was a strong episode. Everyone got character growth. Everyone's stories mattered. Mm-hmm. Even Ragman, he was there and he's been kind of tossed in the background, but I thought they used him well in this episode. Mm-hmm. Everything I think is going in the right direction. I'm glad to see Curtis's story moving forward, and I'm wanting to not hate Renee as much. Maybe, probably not.
Well, I even love how they addressed that. It was like, I'm an acquired taste. And I'm like, sir, that is an understatement.
Yeah, that's it. Fair. I'll go with fair. That's self-awareness that I wasn't ready for in front of you. That's fair.
Self-awareness has been the theme of this week's CW shows. Self-awareness. Yeah, so there you guys have it. that is our recaps of Arrow and Legend of Tomorrow this week. We will be back on Wednesday to talk about Flash and Arrow and Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything going on. We're full steam ahead. All the shows are back. Again, you can email us at mtrailerreviews@movietrailerreviews.net. So let us know what you think. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Basically on iTunes. We're not reading anything off of Stitcher. I mean, if you're still using Stitcher, okay. I'll make sure to put this stuff up there. But honestly, we'll read the 5-star reviews off of iTunes. You can find us everywhere. Search for Super Tuesday Recap. Leave the reviews on Super Tuesday Recap. And yeah, folks, stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff coming out for the network. And until next time, we are out of here. Peace.